the absolute craziest, most bizarre coincidence of my entire life, up until this point still, happened on the mission. I was in this area called Cuenca, and Cuenca was a little bit of a nicer area. I mean, definitely the nicest area that I know about in my mission. So, you know, nicer buildings. They even had some hotels there. It was a little bit more of the frequented or frequently visited area for maybe U.S. citizens. That's also where they have I know a lot of girls that go down to this area to volunteer for an orphanage there, and that's in Cuenca. Anyway, so I'm brand new to the area, so I'm senior comp, but at this time I don't know anywhere or anyone. So I'm just kind of, we're on the side of the road, and I'm just kind of, you know, twiddling my thumbs, not knowing what our next thing was, kind of waiting for my companion to figure it out. And I remember. From a distance, I saw this girl across the street, you know, kind of off in the distance, and you know, you look over and she looked kind of cute, and so as a missionary, you know, instantly change your thoughts and don't keep looking, and so I turn away, and I'm looking at my companion, waiting for him to tell me what our next appointment was or what we should do, and out of the corner of my eye, I see this girl walking directly towards us, and I thought, well, that's kind of odd. You know, maybe this girl is interested in talking to us for some reason. You know, like knows the missionaries or from the past, or is a member from out of town or whatever. So I look again, and I think, you know, she looks a lot like this girl I used to know in high school named Mickey. That's really weird, you know, because obviously I'm in Ecuador. And then I see her continue to walk closer to me, and then it hits me, and she says, "Justin, is that you?" And I lose my mind. I absolutely lose my mind. This girl isn't even from America. When I met her, she was a foreign exchange student at my high school. So she's from Switzerland, I'm from California, we're in Ecuador, and we find each other. Now, we had kept in contact, right? I mean, we had, you know, written each other and stuff like that from California and also from Ecuador. So she knew I was in Ecuador, but let's be honest, I mean, even if you knew what area, what sector that a missionary was in, but you couldn't like call them up and say, hey, where are you at right now? I mean, it would be almost impossible to just walk around until you found them. I mean, it might be possible after like a couple of days of searching, you'd just so happen to run into someone. Anyways, so after I recognize that it's Mickey, what does she do? I mean, she hasn't seen me in a few years. She wants to give me a big hug. Of course, you know what the rules are, so I'm incredibly awkward. I mean, I'm torn between, should I embrace an old friend? And she's not LDS, so she doesn't know the rules. So I'm like, should I embrace my old friend, or should I keep a stiff like, hey, I'm a missionary, I can't touch it or hug a girl, right? So I did this like awkward, like, oh my gosh, I'm such in shock that I just never would have imagined a random friend of mine seeing me in Ecuador. Like I did this like this. I kind of patted her sides like a little bit, but not like a hug. and then I asked her, I'm like, what are you doing here? And so she says, oh, I'm on a study abroad learning Spanish here. And I'm like, oh, that totally makes sense. And I'm like, how did you know where I was or anything? And she just said, I was driving in this taxi, and I said, oh, they're the Mormon missionaries. Wait, I think I know him. Stop the car. She stopped the car and just walked over, and it was me. It was unbelievable. The craziest coincidence I've ever had. And of course, at that point, she says, hey, let's get coffee sometime. Another awkward moment. I don't, okay, first of all, we don't drink coffee, so that's a no. I'm a missionary. Are we allowed to, like, see friends? Or what's the rules on that? She's a girl. Obviously, we'd have to have like a guy there. She's probably not with any guys. So I just did the next best thing, which was actually just share the gospel with her. I mean, I shared the gospel with her before, But this time I was like, well, we're just out teaching about Jesus Christ. Here's a Book of Mormon. She was learning Spanish, and she's from Switzerland. She speaks 5 languages, so Spanish is just another language to her. So we shared, we gave her a Book of Mormon in Spanish, of course, and we asked her to read it. But yeah, I didn't see her again because I was like, this wouldn't probably be appropriate unless it was a missionary, where we're going to treat her like an investigator. So yeah, definitely craziest experience ever.